Good evening. We'd like to welcome everyone to our virtual open house for the 21-22 school year at Central Valley High School. Just a couple notes on as to why we're continuing with virtual. The past history of our open houses, face to face, we at the high school level, we haven't had great participation. 60 to 80 people on average, and it winds up being about 40 families. Last year, due to the COVID, we had an open house virtually, and we wound up being able to look at the information and found that over 400 families view our open house. So we found that we think that it may be more effective to continue with a virtual open house for the high school level, not necessarily other buildings, as there seems to be more participation, but at the high school level, continue with a virtual open house. Therefore, that's what brings us to tonight's presentation and the presentations from our teachers. Please know that we are not trying to eliminate any face-to-face contact or any face-to-face meetings that may be needed. We want to make sure that we open line of communication with the parents and the staff and the teachers and the students at any time. So please do not hesitate to contact us, and we'll talk a little bit about that at the end. We have a very brief presentation this evening. Mr. Vukovic and I, we're going to go through some information pertaining to the high school, and then we're going to direct you to the teacher websites to go through the individual classes that your children may have to listen to some of the information. So he's going to share the screen now, and we're going to move into a brief presentation at the high school level. To begin, my name is Sean McCree. I'm a high school principal. Mr. Vukovic here to my left is the assistant principal. Mrs. Watts is new to us this year as a guidance counselor. She'll be handling the students A through K. Mrs. Istick will be handling the students L through Z. She is familiar with our district. Please know that they also have presentations on the guidance website. We ask that you visit that area. It's going to talk a little bit about what the guidance office offers for our students. It's going to talk a little bit about standardized testing. It's going to talk about the SATs, scholarships, etc. So please take a minute to take a look at the guidance presentations. I think it's going to be very useful, specifically for our junior and senior students as they prepare to graduate here from Central Valley. Mrs. Mary Jo Wood is our school nurse. Unfortunately, she is very involved in a lot of things that go on right now based on the current pandemic and the situation we're in. Does a great job for us. Please, if you have questions concerning anything medically with your children, do not hesitate to reach out to Mrs. Wood. And then all of you probably know, but our first line of defense would be Mrs. Hume, who is our high school secretary, and she's usually the one that answers the telephone every day, first thing, and be the first person you would speak to when you come into the building. Instructional pathways. This is something we talked about last year. We want to talk about again this year. We talked about this with our students in orientation and each student as we met at the beginning of the school year. We really only have two modes of instructional pathways this year compared to last. The number one option would be face-to-face traditional instruction, just what we're used to for many, many years here at Central Valley High School. We encourage parents and students, though, if their children are sick, to please keep them home. We want to make sure that we are doing our very best to mitigate the COVID-19 virus and keep our students home when they are ill. Our second option would be our cyber program, which we've had going on, I think, 9 years now. This would be an asynchronous option where students will take their classes, whether it be at home or in our cyber lab, and take a full cyber schedule, a part cyber schedule, one class, two classes, a variety of different things we can arrange with the student schedules. We are not offering virtual home learning as we did last year during the pandemic. That is going to be held simply. The synchronous learning is going to be held only for COVID-related situations. This option is administratively approved and in all cases is related to COVID, whether it be a test, a positive within your household, the student being positive, a pending test, an exposure, etc. There's a million circumstances that surround this, but that would be the only time that we're offering our synchronous online learning. If that happens, the student will be emailed the Google Meet codes from the teachers, and that teacher will allow them into the Google Meet to participate in class at home virtually during that time of an absence related to the COVID-19 virus. I do encourage you, if you have any issues with the online, with the learning, with the etiquette of it, with how to get on it, what to do, the parent-student support site located on the district website is a great resource for an etiquette guide and just discusses how the synchronous model may work. Health and safety protocols, we're all familiar with these. The face coverings currently in the Central Valley School District required based on the governor and or Department of Health's order regarding face coverings. We ask the students, we wear them all day. The only times the students are not wearing face coverings are when they are outside or when they're participating in phys ed here in school. But short of that, lunchtime, they take their face covering off to eat. We're doing our very best. I could commend our students and staff for adhering to these rules. I know it's not comfortable. It's not something any of us really want to be doing, but our students have done a great job with abiding by these rules and procedures. And I think the number of cases and exposures of which we have within the district speaks to this and taking it seriously. And then the general hygiene, hand washing, using the hand sanitizers, doing our best to keep our social distance. Again, I commend our students for the work they've done to keep our building open, to keep our building safe.
The next part of this presentation, we're going to talk to you about why we come to school, and that's hopefully ultimately to get a diploma. The student handbook can be found on the district website, again, on the high school webpage, and it's going to include all information that you could take the time to look over, and hopefully you already have information about the graduation requirements, attendance, discipline, student services, etc. Graduation requirements here at Central Valley High School are 28 credits. They'll need to achieve those in 4 years. All credits must be earned through the district. We do offer dual enrollment credits. Those do not count, however, towards a graduation.
And I should add, all of this information as part of the handbook and the graduation requirements has gone over with our students on the first couple of days of school at a meeting that Mr. V and I had with them, as well as all the handbook procedures have gone over with the students in the study hall during the first 3 days of school. So none of this would be new to the students. We're just informing the parents.
In addition, as it says there, along with the 28 credits, seniors are still going to be required to complete a senior project or a graduation project. And starting with the junior class, the class of 2023, the Keystone exams will be a graduation requirement as well. And again, we've discussed this with the student body at the beginning of this school year. Another thing that comes up a lot, especially at the beginning of this school year, and with the changes that we've experienced over the last couple of years, is attendance. It's very important that students attend school every day, and when they do not attend, that we are informed. So please contact the high school office. Please contact Ms. Hume when your child is absent from school. By law, students are only permitted to miss 10 days before truancy charges are filed with the district magistrate. We never want to go that route. We always want to work with parents. We always want to work with families. So if things come up, just make sure that the communication is open and that excuses are given to the high school office. In addition to that, tardies. Students are permitted 5 tardies per semester. After 5, students will face disciplinary action according to the handbook. So please remind your child to be at school. Number 1, to be at school on time, especially if they are students driving to school. We've seen over the first month of school that there is a higher volume of traffic around the school. So it's important that they leave a little bit earlier than they may have in the past, because more people are driving and more parents are dropping students off the school. So it's important that they be at school on time. In addition to attendance, we like to address athletics and extracurriculars. We encourage all students to be involved. It's really what makes the experience of high school. In order to stay eligible, however, they must be getting the job done in the classroom. Our eligibility policy, any student that has 2 failing marks during any week of the school year is going to be subject to a week's suspension from any activity from that squad. In addition, another grading policy that we have is our 9-week eligibility policy. If any student fails one subject at the conclusion of the 9 weeks, they will be out of those sports or out of those extracurricular activities for 15 days. So it's important to come to school for the right reason and to stay on top of the academics, which will allow you to do the other things that we offer here at the high school. In addition to that, daily participation, just so that students and parents are aware, students must be present within 45 minutes of the official start time. We start here at 7:30, so that would be 8:15. So they must be here by 8:15 in order to participate in after-school activities. In addition to that, please check the athletics page for the athletic handbook for the most up-to-date information. Next, Our high school website is going to be updated throughout the year to provide the most important information to both students and parents. There you'll find high school news from the past or things that are upcoming. You'll find obviously the staff directory. You'll find information about the clubs and activities that we offer, and much, much more. Also, it's important that parents are aware of Power School and have the information to access Power School. So if at any time you need that information, and if you're having problems with your usernames, your passwords, please contact the high school office and we'll make sure that those accounts are active and we'll make sure those accounts are working. All of our report cards for the past few years are made available online, as with our progress reports that are given at the midpoint of each 9 weeks. So please, again, take a look at Power School. If you haven't had your account activated at this point, or if you need any help, just let us know.
The open house presentation presented by our teachers. We ask, this is the most important part of the presentation. We're just going over some basic procedures, rules, etc., that we like to talk about with parents. Typically what we would do in the auditorium should we had a face-to-face open house. But this would be the most important part of tonight's presentation would be, please go to the district website. Once at the high school homepage, which if you're already there now, if you're viewing this presentation, click on the teacher websites that you would like to see. So just simply go through your student schedule, click on those websites. The teachers have provided video presentations that talks about course outlines, structures of their class, testing, grading, student expectations, contact information, and to set up individual parent conferences. I think it's very important that if you have questions, please make sure you contact that teacher. We'll be happy to set up meetings with them, conferences, work with the guidance counselors, work with the administration, whatever we may need to do to make sure that your student is getting the best out of what they come to school every day for, and that's the education. We appreciate the work our teachers have put in. This has been a very trying, almost year and a half now of educating our students in many different ways. Our students have done the job. They've been the ones that have worked hard through all the ups and downs, and they've worked extremely hard to get to the successes that they had. 2 graduating classes now, going back, all the way back to the 2 classes ago where we went out in March, and the students graduated in June, and then the whole school year last year, and even these students this year are dealing with some of the similar circumstances. So we commend our students for the hard work. We're proud to be here at Central Valley. We're proud to say that our doors have been open, and we're going to continue to keep those open for students to have face-to-face instruction. We're here for the students. Should they need anything, please let them know that we want to be advocates for them. If you as parents need any assistance along the way, do not hesitate to contact Mr. Vukovic or I. I will assure you, you will get a call back from us, and we'll do everything we can to assist your students. So at this time, we ask that you please visit the teacher presentations. Any questions that may come out of those, please contact the teacher, the administrator, the guidance counselors, and we'll be happy to answer those questions. I hope that you find tonight's presentation helpful, and I hope that some questions get answered. But should you have further, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you. Enjoy the evening.